Andrew McCart, IFLTV, delighted for the first time in a long time, Mr. Ben Shalom. I know you've done interviews with IFLT a couple of times, but I've not spoken to you now in a wee while. How's life been?
Very good, very good. Obviously, a lot of work gone into getting BBC over the line, so yeah, delighted to now be here. It was supposed to be October 25th, the launch. It's November 29th, and now it'll come thick and fast, so unbelievable to be back.
I know, and listen, it's a great fight to start, to kick off the BBC with, is this heavyweight clash. I mean, I know you spoke about the frustrations of the last few months with young Joe Pugh and the like, so I won't go there. So I'll just focus solely on this heavyweight clash that you've got and excitement building around this, because there's no love lost between the two of them. They were ready to go at it, up in that thing. So what was being said between the two of them? We couldn't make it out, so you were there, you heard what was being said. What were they saying to each other?
You know what? Jamie, I think, started the week in TalkSport, and I actually thought perhaps it was over the top. And I think a lot of the staff in TalkSport were saying to me, this is too much. Some of them weren't feeling safe. Some of them were saying that it was about to kick off. Some of them saying the things that were said when it was off camera, because they had to take it off camera, was way too much. And so his team obviously spoken to him, but I think the way I think he has calmed down, but he's saying smart things now, and he's conducted himself in a way I've not seen before. I promoted him since debut. I've promoted Frazer since debut. It's been two different journeys. But with Jamie, he just feels like he's got this newfound confidence where he's able to articulate and communicate the way he wants to. And I think it's been pretty impressive. And I think he has helped build that fight. But I think it comes as well from the pressure that both of them are under. Both of them could have been British champions, should have probably been British champions already. Jamie in April was cruising. I was there that night to a victory against David Adelaide, had an illegal blow. For me, how that ended up was I still believe was disgraceful. What's he got out of it? Okay, they ruled it an illegal blow, and they still gave the win to David Adelaide on BoxRec. It was unbelievable. And then ordered a rematch that obviously there's no such thing as a compulsory rematch in boxing when it's not contractual, and so he moved on. And Jamie has been left in the lurch thinking, I should be British champion, and I beat David Adelaide, and I didn't get my rematch. And so I think that's been a lot of pent-up frustration for him. And then I take it to Frazer Clarke. He's looking at that Fabio Wardley and thinking, Jesus, a lot of people felt he won that night. And that was in his 8th professional fight. And I remember the amount of pressure that was on me to put him in there in the 6th professional fight. And the 8th, I still felt was too early. It was his first time he'd even boxed, I think, 10 rounds, 12 rounds. But what a performance. And without the dot point, he wins the fight. And a lot of people felt he won it anyway. And then he's gone and watched Fabio go and become heavyweight world champion. And credit to him, unbelievable. But he'll be sat there thinking that could have been me. And those are the margins in boxing. And so now to be both of them back at the British title with the history they've had with that title, where they feel like they've been aggrieved, where they feel like they've not won what they deserved, there's pressure and there's anxiety, and I can feel it. I've worked with both of these. The pressure on Saturday night for both of these guys in terms of their careers, in terms of their families, in terms of everything that they've worked throughout their career, and it lands on the BBC in front of a national audience is immense. The winner is in a position that is quite unbelievable given where the divisions are, and the status that they'll get from this. The loser has got a long way back, and so I want both guys to give it their all. I'm incredibly proud to work with Frazer. I think he's such a good ambassador for the sport, such a good man, such a good family man, and a fan favourite as well. And I feel like the whole of the country just wants Big Frazer to do well, and so he'll be looking for a statement on Saturday night. He'll want to put a statement, show that he's a level above, and move on to higher, to bigger things. And so the whole week has just culminated in a great fight. Animosity between the two as well, 100%. But I think it's more, this man is now standing in the way of my dreams, and it's now personal, and it's now, I cannot let this guy stop what I need to achieve in this sport. And so the back and forth's been great. it's not boiled over to the point where we've got the board on our case and things like that, which I was concerned about at the start of the week. So all is good, all looks good for tomorrow night, and I'm just looking forward to a great fight.
You mentioned both fighters, the pressure of fighting on the BBC now as a promoter. Do you feel pressure putting on these fights for the BBC? Because you're going, it's a new broadcaster, obviously you've got this behind you, you're going up against Eddie Hearn again tomorrow night, and on the 20th of December you've got a clash with, I know it's different time zones, but Ghana as well. I think Matchroom got a Ghana show on the 20th of December. So do you feel pressure to put on these fights and continue to put on these 50-50 fights? I know the 20th of December, Troy Williamson and Cam Simpson's a fantastic 50-50 fight as well. So what pressure are you feeling right now, Ben?
I don't think the pressure comes from other shows, because I think the numbers on BBC and the eyeballs on BBC and the audience, no one can compete with. Like, it's the biggest platform in the UK. From the networks to the radio to the digital to the linear to the TV, it's incredible. And only just seeing that for the first time, like, because they're not done boxing in so long, there's so much to get used to. There's so much to, but we're starting to see, wow, if we can get the cogs moving on here, it's going to be absolutely explosive. And so I'm very excited for that. I think the pressure comes from because you're in front of a national audience. It means a lot can go right, but a lot can go wrong. Yeah. And I think that's the same for the fighters. I've said to them, a heavy defeat on the BBC in front of that many people who might not have seen you box before and might not see you box again if it doesn't go well, that can happen. And so yeah, as a promoter, it's pressure, because they've also, for BBC to get involved in a sport like ours, which does come with controversy and all the rest, and probably the reason why they've decided to take a break for a while, we got to make sure that we take this opportunity with both hands and really build on it and really grow it and keep them in the sport, because I don't think it's a great thing for our business, but I think it's an unbelievable thing for British boxing as well.
Definitely. Now, I want to piggyback off something that Joe Pugh asked Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn said that, the reason why I asked about pressure for you, Ben, is that Eddie Hearn said that you're not competition to him. Do you feel with the BBC behind you and the fights that you're putting on that you could be, or do you feel like you're competition to Matchroom and Eddie Hearn?
I'm not interested in them. I'm not interested in anything they have to say. They don't want competition. It's natural. They made it as difficult for me as possible to break in. It's natural. I'm the age of when Eddie Hearn started. Eddie Hearn works for his dad, right? He's 50 years old and he works for his dad, right?
So I
don't even want to, and I mean it in a respectful way. He's an unbelievable talker, and he talks for a living. Doesn't have to run a business. He talks. That's what he does. And so it's very different to start at 23 years old with not anything and try and get to the level that I've got to. And at my age, he hadn't even started. I'm probably about 100 shows in. And so I accept they don't want competition. I don't care about that. I'm thick enough skin to have got to this position with all that. And look, we're on what we've done to bring boxing back to the BBC. They can downplay all they want, but it's a phenomenal achievement. And I'm not just saying that for myself, but everyone that I work with. The hoops that you have to jump through, the hurdles that we've had to go, the way we've had to get BBC to accept to come back into the sport, it has been a huge achievement. And it's going to be powerful. I'm telling you, it's going to be powerful. This platform is not a joke. And so let's see what happens after Saturday night. It's a start, but it's something I'm really looking forward to.
Another thing I want to talk about is Eddie said, I know Joe Pugh's interview with yourself, you said the trilogy fight with Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn, Eddie Hearn says, not going to happen. Do you see that? Do you honestly feel that there can be a trilogy fight between two of them?
Boxing is a different day every single day. It's very hard to predict what's going to happen and what's not going to happen. Who knows? Who knows? I didn't think the first fight between Eubank and Ben would ever happen, and it did. So we'll see.
It's a fickle sport because, like you mentioned, Fabio Wardley's now world champion. Who would have saw that coming? Who would have saw Joshua fighting Jake Paul? It does seem like the boxing world is probably, as a sport, there's no sport like it when it comes to just a different news cycle 24 hours. Do you know what I mean? So that being said, do you love the sport still? I mean, there's been the frustrations in the last 6 months or so. I mean, there's a lot of back pain involved in trying to get these shows made and networks and fighters contracts and this, that, and the next thing. But for you, Ben, do you still enjoy it?
Look, as with anything, as you grow and as the business matures and develops in life, there's lessons, there's things that you did bad, there's things that you did good, and that's all it is. It's a journey. Why I like boxing is it's like an extreme form of life. The highs are so high, the lows are so low, the experiences are so intense, and it's a drug. And I've had that drug. It's all I've done. I've never had a job, and it's a drug to me. And so, do I have? I've done quite well in my time. I don't have to do it, but I do love it. And yes, it can be frustrating. Yes, it can be. There's times where you're like, I can't believe it. Yes, have I been naive at times and been stabbed in the back? 100%. But that happens in boxing, and it happens in life. And so, I think, luckily, I fairly resilient, and I'm glad to have gone through those experiences, because without them, you don't get to the next stage and you don't get to the next level in your journey as a promoter. And to be honest, I'm glad to go and do different broadcast deals. I think it helps us mature as a business. I think for a lot of people, they felt like we'd just been placed there by Sky and didn't know that we'd been to this broadcast and had to build from here and this and that. So to react like we have, and to be able to come to the BBC and announce another pay TV partner in the next couple of weeks, it's big news for us. And boxing is a drug. Unfortunately, it's a drug.
I agree with you. Now, can I ask a couple of selfish questions?
Yeah.
My boy Sam Hickey, speak to me.
The man.
The man.
He's back on December the 20th. He was going to be on this show when it was on October the 25th. He picked up a minor injury, but he'll be back in December. And look, the idea is that he becomes a headliner for us. We've got Lauren Price in Wales, and we want a big star in Scotland. So do the BBC, and it's very important. I think that's why the Wales thing's going to work fantastic for Lauren, and BBC Scotland with Sam. We've just talked off camera. You always have that one star.
One generational talent, yeah. It's always
in Scotland.
I'll break it down. It's always been like a Ken Buchanan, then a Jim Watt, then a Scott Harrison, then an Alex Arthur, then a Ricky Burns, then a Josh Taylor. Josh is retired now, so now that generational talent that we're looking for, a lot of people think it is Sam Hickey. Now, you're Sam Hickey's promoter. Do you feel it's Sam Hickey?
The talent is there, the fan base is there, the personality is there. When you talk about rough diamonds and you talk about the full package and what we're looking for, especially on the BBC now, he's got it in abundance. Now it's just about consistency, the right fights. He's got fantastic trainer in Ron McCracken. I believe he's the best in his division, but he now needs to prove that. So December 20 will be a return, and then I'd love to get up to Dundee and start building him. The fan base that he's got, I think, where did he box on his debut?
Was that Sheffield?
No. He boxed on his debut for us, and I think it was in London. I think it was at the Copper Box on an Adam Azim show.
Sheffield's his second fight, yeah.
And I couldn't believe the fan base that he brought down. And I saw a few, he's got a few nutcase friends, as you can imagine.
The jocks, mate, we're all nuts.
But he's got this something, I've had it with Callum Simpson, and I've had it with Chris Billam-Smith. And you can see the spark of when you can see it, there's a spark there, and that can grow into stadium nights and arena nights and a proper passionate fan base. And I know Sam's got that same thing that I saw with Callum and I saw with Chris. But he'll believe that he'll go on and win world titles as well. So that combination could be lethal.
Music to my ears, Ben. Now, an honorary jock in big Martin Bakole. He's back training back up in Scotland. Yeah. When I see him back training, I'm thinking it's going to be news soon. What's the script with Big Martin?
Listen, the idea is he boxes in January and early February. It's been frustrating as his promoter in a way, and I'm happy to say this. Billy doesn't mind talking this online and this and that. It's been frustrating. He got to IBF final eliminator. The Joseph Parker fight was what it was. He wasn't in shape at the time. Then he wasn't. Then the FA Ajagba fight. We got a draw. Let's be honest. It wasn't the best Martin Bakole that we've ever seen. Then in August, we had the Hrgovic fight, and for whatever reason, we couldn't take that. He's so talented. And
fan-friendly fighter as well. He's a heavyweight.
he's such a lovely guy, and he's got the character, and he's got the charisma, and he's got the size, and he's a fantastic boxer. And I remember when we took him out to Los Angeles for the Jared Anderson fight, it was like he lit the world alight. And he wasn't even at 80% that night either. I've never seen him at 90%, 100% in the ring. That's what's frustrating to me. And, you know, they might not like me for saying that, but it is, because I believe he, on his day, can be the best heavyweight in the world. And, you know, for whatever reason, we're not seeing Martin at his best in the ring. And that's all I can hope for now. And look, you've got a short career, and sometimes fighters don't realise how short it is. And when they've made their first few quid, are they as hungry as they were? And look, I'd love to see him back, and in a way, just as a fan, because I think he's a great addition to the heavyweight division, and I think he can beat anyone. But I want to see him back and ready and fit, and yeah, as I say, he'll be back, but hopefully as 100% Martin Bakole.
January, February, you said a date. Anywhere? Would it be like a Riyadh season?
There's a Riyadh option, and then there's an option in the UK as well. So look, I'm looking forward to it, and yeah, we'll announce what we're doing in the new year very soon.
Back to this fight. We spoke about the main event, but this fight's on the undercard, Ben. I don't want to put pressure on you, but talked about the undercard, Fran Hennessy and Bobby Dalton and the likes, man. There's some good 50-50 title fights on this card as well.
Yeah, look, Bobby Dalton comes in as an English champion. Joel Kadua, who I've seen Sunday here, he's had a busy couple of weeks, so he will not want a defeat in this fight. You know, two unbeaten fighters for the English title. It's a crossroads fight. It's a fight that neither of them had to take. Fran Hennessy, who has become somewhat of a viral sensation. Every single national paper seems to be covering her, so she can only be unbelievable for the sport in that sense. She's got females wanting to get into the sport all over the country, and she's the type of fighter that's going to really benefit from a platform like this. She's going in against a former world champion at 20 years old. I can't quite believe it, because I met her when she was 16, and I thought she was about 12. I know Mick really well, and he's a great family man, and he would tell me about his daughter, and she's going to be a world champion. And Mick loves his fighters. So if Mick would tell me any of his fighters he knows his boxing, but he falls in love with his fighters. So when he's talking about his daughter, I remember when I met her for the first time, she's 60, I'm thinking, Mick, shut the fuck up. You know, you've sold me, you know, you've come with this and that, and now what, you're telling me your daughter is going to be the best female that the world has ever seen? I was just like, Mick, first of all, don't you dare manage her, because you're going to be an absolute nightmare to deal with. And second of all, I don't believe you. Fast forward 4 years, it's incredible story. There was the night where she fought, I forget the name of the fighter, it was an unbeaten fighter, 5-0, with 2 knockouts, who came in looking big and her size, and she just boxed incredibly, and that was the night I knew that, you know, she's probably going to unify divisions, and what an opportunity for her.
BBC, the first fight on the BBC.
Yeah, and what a story. And look, BBC obviously have seen something in her. They really like her, and they think that she can inspire the next generation. And that's a great thing about the BBC. You know, when Wimbledon's on the BBC, the lift up in people buying tennis rackets and getting on the courts is incredible. We want to have the same effect now with boxing. We think we can really make a difference to the participation in gyms up and down the country, but not just in the male sport, in the female sport. And Fran has got that infectious sort of personality, that relatability that I think is going to inspire a huge portion of the country.
Oh, wow. And she's a promoter's dream.
She is. Nothing to do with.
Ben, good to see you again. It's like I said, it's been a while. I'm looking forward to tomorrow night, this heavyweight clash, British clash, title fight on the line. What more can we ask for? Ben, as always, thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one.
Cheers, mate.
Thank you.